Oh, fuck it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah, we had to, as much as I wanted to do the show as soon as possible after the Trump assassination attempt, I was not going to be able to do it on Tuesday. But at least it gave us time to get a little more information. And so,
what information? We don't know shit. All we know is this. It went from I was at a con when this happened. We all were sitting and we were like, literally sitting in a bunch of gay nerds. We're all like, damn. And I just said, who sent the marksman from the Imperial Academy? What's with this fucking Imperial Stormtrooper ass marksmanship?
I just know that, I'm on Twitter, and the crowd that is in my algorithm, I see a post that says Trump got shot, and I just think, funny, because that's just the kind of thing, it's like the kind of shit they say, all just random shit that isn't actually real.
Yeah.
So, and then I scroll, and then there's another thing that says, holy shit, Trump got shot. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? That really happened? So I go and look at the video.
For a second, did you turn into Hawkeye? Don't give me hope.
Actually, I was scared to death that he would die. Even though I personally want him to, I am scared of the consequences of that. I would rather him be defeated at the ballot box than see what the hell happens.
I will be honest. The moment I found out it was a white guy who did it, I was like, man.
I think I posted and later deleted, please be a cishet white man, please be a cishet white man, please be a cishet white man.
And your wish was granted.
Yeah. I took down the joking posts I made after I found out that a bystander had died.
I don't know. Let's put it like this. Now that we know who that person really is and the type of person that married them,
I was, the whole thing of I didn't want to talk to Biden because my husband wouldn't have wanted me to. That says everything I need to know about that marriage.
And that says to me everything I need to know about a lot of white women who stick with Trump.
And what did he call? He called Karine Jean-Pierre a DEI hire. And let's be clear, Karine Jean-Pierre is just as odious as Jen Psaki. They're all press secretaries. They're horrible people. She's
not a special press secretary. She just happens to be a press secretary who is a Haitian American immigrant who's gay. Yeah, she's just like Jen.
Yeah, she's Jen Psaki, Tony Snow, and I think, and they're all cut from the same cloth as any other press secretary. They have to basically lie to us for a living. And I find, that I don't think Jen Psaki would be lying any less odiously about the shit going on in the world if she were in that position right now. So
yeah, I think we'd be getting this. I think we'd be getting the same kind of results, the same kind of we'd be getting the same grade of bullshit.
Yeah. So it's sort of like when people were called Brianna Joy Gray DEI Barbie. I happen to find Brianna Joy Gray to be full of shit, but the fact is, she is a motherfucking Harvard educated commentator. I happen to find her to be wrong a lot, or I disagree with her a lot, let's say.
I just find that right now my main gripe is with the state of journalism as it stands. When journalism became a playground for Nepo babies and people with more money than sense and the sheepskin to prove it, that's when we stopped getting journalists that actually cared about the news and were not as interested in being the news.
Why does Tucker Carlson or Anderson Cooper even want to be journalists?
Honestly, Anderson Cooper could get laid by a million different guys in a million different places if it's about that.
I journalists do what journalists do, And I think that's part of.
No, I think it's the fact that it's a way of getting power without looking like you're getting power.
Yeah.
It's all the power with none of the responsibility, really. They're running this whole thing like a grad school simulation, and I'm fucking sick of it. I'm emotionally tired of a occupation that used to be something that if you were a middle class person and you weren't very athletic, but you knew how to talk to people, do research, and write and you knew the basic public transportation of your the goddamn city you worked in, you could do this job. But when they started with the unpaid internships, the old boys club, the nepotism, that's when journalism lost its balls. Now we have a bunch of self-filleting Olympic ringed Autoboros of inbred near beer elites, because they're not true elites, they're just near it, who because their mom sucked the right dick while in grad school at Columbia, now they're working at the Atlantic.
All the same, I don't think it was ever really a great profession. I mean, capitalism certainly made it worse over time, but all the same, I never really bought the sort of myth of the universally beloved Walter Cronkite. I guarantee you, households all over the country thought he was a communist.
I never thought of journalists as universally beloved. I just thought of them as a necessary part of the grease that helped society run.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and now
the grease has become really, really put into, and 50 years ago, mind you, really, I don't think it predicted so much as laid bare what we were headed towards. I don't think it took a genius to predict that the commodification of the news would ruin the news.
That part.
So I mean, that's...
And I think it's just they're looking at the ratings and they're like, our ratings were doing gangbusters when Trump was in office. I think they're really underestimating, because most of them have either connections or a way to leave the country if it truly goes to hell.
Yeah. All the same, I did see someone post something that said, if you have the resources and the ability to leave the country, you have a responsibility to stay to help people that can't. Thought, nah, do you think all those Syrian refugees are like privileged because they were able to leave? Like, no, that's a horrible take.
I'm like that's.
I get if you're talking about millionaires or something like that, but like,
yeah,
no, if you're middle class and leave, that's.
Yeah, if you're a middle class person who happened to marry the right person or get the job with the right company, then you have my leave to go. Then you have people. I mean, I have a cousin that she managed to accept a 4 to 5 year gig in Malta. She's in Malta right now, so she's fucking good to go. Do not think I love her. I find her husband boring, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to tolerate that shit. That doesn't mean I refuse to tolerate that shit if I need to leave. Oh, no.
Malta's too tiny. It can't fit any more people.
I don't. Listen. I'm not even bringing the cats. I'm not even bringing all my burlesque and drag gear.
Oh, no. We're not going anywhere without our dogs and tortoises.
Oh, yeah. Y'all are fun. Y'all gonna end up like... That'd be hilarious. You have the means and you end up staying because of the animals. I ain't got shit. And somehow I end up leaving because I'm just sociopathic enough to be like, Malta's got cats. I'll be fine.
I suppose, on paper, we do not have the means. But then again, it's more of a case of, if I flee the country, I'm not paying my fucking student loans.
Well, in your case also, you're a lawyer. Everyone needs lawyers. They don't want to admit they need lawyers.
There are certain countries where I could probably take a very shortened kind of educational course to become a lawyer in whatever new country.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, there was a guy in Kenya who faked his way into arguing before Kenya's highest court and nearly won that shit. This man out-argued much of Kenya's best lawyers. And these are people who were educated in the best schools in Africa, in good schools in Johannesburg and Pretoria, good schools in England, in Germany, in America, in Canada, and still this dude out-argued them all.
It's Kenyan suits. It's just suits in Kenya.
Basically, I mean, the fact that, honestly, if you got a good enough showrunner, you could probably do a Kenyan spinoff of Suits, and I would actually watch it. Why lie?
Okay, so considering the royal family connection there, I do think that Meghan Markle should be a part of that.
Somehow Rachel Zane reappears in Kenya
in a very specific, like, some suit against some former British, like, officer who did some horrible thing at some point in the past, and some Boers taking their money out of his ass, like, 70 years later. Like, something. I don't know. I need that.
And the idea of, but who's bankrolling this? Who's bankrolling this humble Kenyan woman's suit? Who is bankrolling her? I am. Oh my God, it's the Duchess of Sussex. That would actually listen, bitch. Give me, you know what? Kenyan suits. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. Now I want it because I'm like, the idea that who's bankrolling this woman's suit? I am. Right? That's the Duchess of Sussex. Well, shit.
So to go back to, I think the very beginning when I said, we learn more about the shooter, I think we learned that he is a white man. And I think the other thing we learned only yesterday was that this guy was just looking to pop anybody important on his way out the door.
Yeah, and honestly, this now puts it, this is the best possible conclusion for all parties. It is. It's the best possible resolution for all parties. The Republicans can now go back to pretending to care about mental health.
Oh yeah.
They don't care. But they can pretend. They'll fake it hard. They'll fake it better than Stormy Daniels ever could. So, I mean, honestly, they'll fake like they care about men's mental health, and then, the Democrats will be like, but what about the guns? And we'll just be back to the status quo of suck.
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising how little has come out. No, like, statement from any medical practitioner,
which tells me that Trump was not as injured. The cops were saying, and I normally don't believe cops for shit, but the cops were saying, hey, he got nicked by some glass and some fragments, and honestly, that's what it was giving. It was giving nicked by glass and fragments. Black Twitter is going on and acting like it was faked. And I'm like, nah, it actually happened. He just got nicked.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple scenarios of what could happen that would have to make it a conspiracy. One is that, like, someone planned to shoot him partially in the ear, and no one can do that. No one can get an AR-15 round to partially wing an ear from 100 yards. Absolutely no one. Like, I may not know a lot about guns. I only own handguns.
Yeah, but what gets me, though,
I know enough.
What gets me, though, is how much the authorities were asleep on the whole thing.
The amount of fucked upitude that was just baked into this entire operation. Like, I wonder, it's like the Secret Service thinks that it's the, local cops they're outsourcing to's job to, do this. The local cops think it's the Secret Service. No one's doing their job. It's the biggest Secret Service fuck up probably ever. And I am not a lot of people lose their job.
And I'm not, and the thing is, what I always keep going back to is it's the Unabomber paradox. The law enforcement has to be right every single fucking time. The assassin only has to be right once.
Yeah.
So it kind of, the fact that if you bring it down to that, then you are kind of like, well, president lived, so was it that much of a fail? But on the other hand, the one time you were wrong. So it's a very that the Unabomber paradox is basically, to me, one of the most annoying things in law enforcement that we don't talk about enough.
Yeah. But, I think realistic police reformers, like not police abolitionists, which, really do get, but not a realistic.
I understand the police abolitionists, but baby girl, we cannot go through. I wish we could go that far, but we can't, unfortunately.
I don't think anybody who has a realistic idea of police reforms thinks that police will ever be perfect. But I mean, the fact of the matter is they are actively either incompetent or malicious. So
yeah, I mean, right now there's a police officer that killed a black woman, and they actually managed to arrest him.
Yeah, surprised.
Yay! Yeah, trust me, I'm surprised too. But apparently, the family rode that department and got the body cam released so the public could see it, and at that point they couldn't hide it anymore.
You know what bothers me is like I like the just how much I used to remember the names and now I don't anymore.
Yeah, it starts to become the way closing credits in a movie go. Yeah. At first, you get like the 2, the 3, the 4 names that are above the marquee, the top line names. Then it just blends into an eternal flood.
Yeah, I like I like it, there was like a while when it was just like each successive one, like John Crawford returning a gun to Walmart in an open carry state. Philando Castile in his car.
Tamir Rice.
Again, open carry state.
Like Atiana Jefferson.
Yeah. And now it's just, I can't remember the jogger's name. And I used to know it.
Aubrey.
Thank you. And it's like, I used to like, I don't know, it's like too many in too many years. And I don't know if it's...
Yeah, it gets frustrating because you have this list of people, but you don't get the same equivalent amount of justice for it. And you're just like, well, what the fuck?
Walter Scott's murderer went to jail, was convicted. He was the one that was running away, and someone with a cell phone camera got the cop like shooting him after he ran away.
Yeah.
And then, obviously there's, oh my God.
George Floyd, Eric Garner.
Yeah, Eric Garner, they got away with it. There was an article from, I can't remember, I don't know, I think it might have been ProPublica that published this incredible article. I think maybe in conjunction with the New York Times. I might be totally screwing up but it was basically about all of the times that New York intervened to get these police out of disciplinary problems. And so, it seems like the only things they do are, malicious or fuck ups. This was
it's like I tend to just tell people, listen, cops in this country are dangerous if you are black or if you are a white person with mental distress.
Like Chris Rock's, list on the life expectancy of black people: hypertension, high blood pressure, NYPD. So police competency, I think, is an unspoken part of the things we need to reform, is that we don't just need them to stop being malicious and horrible. We also,
because I think,
how do you fuck that up kind of moment.
I think this is also one thing where we do not train our police officers long enough. Even with like, we send them out onto the field in what, maybe 4 to 6 months. Other countries are like, no, nah. You're going to be in training for a year, 2 years, maybe. We'll see how we feel.
Yeah. Ultimately, this whole thing was just a clusterfuck of epic proportions, and I am perversely, glad Trump didn't die, because again, on a personal level,
I don't
I would
know.
have loved
I'm
it.
still. I don't know. I'm going to be honest.
I think we would have seen a lot of violence across the country if he had been before. Like, even after we found out who did it, a lot of assumptions would have been made, and I think a lot of, worst case scenario, a lot of sort of militias trying to, pretend to be these sort of paramilitary kind of things are going around trying, looking for Antifa.
I don't know. I
type.
don't know. I still think it would have just saved everybody a lot of drama.
Well, Trump lived, and Biden, on the other hand, is on life support. And
for me, and the thing is, the more I'm looking at it, the more it feels like that's why I went on the rant about journalists, because a good chunk of this is the press ginning up drama, because they took that debate. They took the debate, didn't even spend time realizing that the guy's opponent got shot and is falling asleep every night in front of everybody at the convention. And it's kind of, I'm just kind of sitting here like, do you like,
what's the point in going after Trump for his obvious deficits after the past
why not?
9 years? 9 years.
Why not?
9
Why
years.
the fuck not?
9
Why
years.
the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? I'm sorry. If
9 years.
No.
9 years of exclaiming how unfit he is for the presidency.
Listen.
I'm not going on the merits of them doing it. I'm going on the practicality of it, because they have never moved the needle against Trump in all the reporting on how unfit he is, how deranged he is, how his word salads make no sense, how homicidal he is, how incapable of coherency he is. There has been nothing that the press has done that has moved the needle on him. He is basically, people like him, the sort of strongman fascist types, whether it's him or whether it's Putin, Putin, it's more, threats of physical force to keep people in line, and the elections aren't exactly popular. But like, look at people like Giorgia Meloni and Berlusconi from Italy, or even, oh God, Duterte in the Philippines, or look at people who are like this sort of strongman, like exuding this sort of masculine rage and railing against the impotency of a once great nation, etc. They have a built-in audience that does not falter. And so the media has been going, they've written entire books about Trump's just litany of lies. They have gone after
for
how
me, it's
unfit
also
he is.
The fact that, why not bring up the fact that, yeah, he is not okay, which means which means the Heritage Foundation has a perfect vessel in which to enact their new operating system. He is incompetent, which means they have not done it. They have not done it to the extent that they should. I honestly feel like now, I will say that there are auxiliary periodicals that are now, the fact that People Magazine even did this. People Magazine, which normally does not stick its foot in any of this shit, said, "Hey, yo, have you read this? Have you read this?
Taraji
We're gonna give you some advice."
The reason that they're even covering it in the first place.
That what?
Taraji P. Henson is the reason they're covering it in the first place.
God.
And let's be clear. I've known about Project 2025 for a while.
So have I.
Follow a lot of.
We all. I think the two of us have.
and
the two of us have. I know it because in my evil days, I paid attention to these sort of things.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit that they talked about. They got wet and moist over. Honestly, it's the fact that it's the people aren't thinking about how this can affect your everyday life. I don't think I'm exaggerating if it means you're leaving the hands of your education and to the purview of the Diley Salinases and the Vicky Badgetts of this country. You're leaving your private adult entertainment in the hands of British people of a certain age know what I'm about to say. In the hands of the Mary Whitehouses of this country. In the hands of people who would be the Carrie A Nation, the Layla Micklewaights, the Fight the New Drug types. In other words, these are people who say, you know what? Hey, maybe we should outlaw porn.
Oh yeah.
And we have a Supreme Court that's willing to go with it.
I give the media no pass by saying they're doing the right thing. But what I am doing is saying they're doing what the media does. And the political party, the Democrats, and the people running have to run with the understanding that the media does what it always does. Part of the issue is that Biden won Arizona by 10,000 votes. He won Georgia by 11,000 votes. He won Wisconsin by 20,000 votes. He won Nevada by 22,000 votes. Despite the fact that at times he was 9% ahead in the popular vote, and his popular vote total was amazing. But what's crucial are these swing states. And as much as politicos and people like you and I focus on politics all the time, and we're mostly straight party people, we're even in the practical sense that we may not agree with this party, but this is the party that more closely aligns with our values, or rather is less opposed to them. So
will be less interested in our destruction.
But there are a significant number of people who, for example, in Michigan, voted Democratic on down ballot, but did not vote for Hillary Clinton. Yes. Part of which sealed her fate. That is the issue with Biden, is the fact that, as unfair as it is, and again, to go back, Trump is a strongman fascist, masculine energy, trying to recapture the glory days of an empire gone by, pure as
that never really existed,
with a built-in fan base who will not waver from him, and a supreme electoral college advantage. His votes count more for Biden's votes, period. And that's what the Democrats have to work with, and that's what they have to know. It's not fair, but those are the facts on the ground. So when Biden says he's going to run again at his age, and he is in a diminished capacity in a way that would make these kind of voters who are wishy-washy and aren't quite sure who they want to vote for, even though to all of us, it should be very obvious that even if he's a corpse, he should be voted for.
Yeah, like because everyone knows, at least most of us on our side of the aisle knows at least 5 people who are like, bitch, he could be a decomposing corpse on the couch. I would still vote for him.
I know dozens of people who are like that. But I also know 2 people personally. 2 people I know who have said they are not going to vote for him this election cycle. And one of them is in a solid blue state, but the other is in a swing state.
And I know people who were holding out for Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Who look like they're going to stay home. Maybe. I'm hoping they stay home.
It should be, and hopefully is, enough. We still don't know how COVID changed the electorate, but we also know that Biden is depressing turnout. And based on the polling of eligible voters and people who are frequent voters, Biden has been losing for some time now. He managed, I think, twice over the last 10 months to edge with Trump. But he has been losing for the vast majority of time for the past 10 months. And since the debate, it has gotten worse. And I know people want to say that is the media hyper fixating on it. But the thing is, that fix was in the day after. because we all watched what happened, and there are a lot of people
We
who
all
look at
watched what happened, and a lot of people tuned out early. But like I said, I also think a lot of people on the higher end of the party really do take the backbone of the party for granted. They do take I think in batting this around, they are taking Black women for granted. They are taking a lot of women of color for granted. They are taking for granted. They are ignoring that some of the stronger prognosticators have said, believe it or not, if you hold on to Biden and you prop him up like you should, you will make it. It will be a squeaker. It will be like a 287, 250 something victory, but you will make it.
I don't see that happening with the margins he had in 2020 in the key and necessary swing states. I really don't. First of all, and again, this is about facts on the ground, not what is correct and right. Because if things were right and votes counted equal, he'd blow Trump the fuck away.
And for me, it's more a matter of it's still early, and we haven't got. And Vance is too and it's looking like Vance is too scared to debate Kamala. Which honestly, you're a white man and this country hates Black women. You should be fine. But he's too much. But he's pussy. I said what I said.
Oh, he is. The issue is that Biden has been losing a winnable election for the better part of a year, and it has only gotten worse since that debate. Not only that, but he is now losing in every key swing state, everyone.
But the thing is, it all depends on which polls you're going with. Because I'm looking at some polls are saying
the aggregate of polls show that his chance for victory, whenever he gets a chance for victory, is something like 52%. But the aggregate of polls show that he is averaging down in all swing states. Some by a little bit, but some by a lot. I can't remember. I think one of them was by 7%. In Wisconsin, he is down almost 10% from the Senate candidate. I for the life of me, cannot remember who it is.
I don't think Mandela Barnes is running again.
No, he's not. He got screwed. I wouldn't run again if I were him.
It's Hovland against some other motherfucker, and I can't stand Hovland. I can't stand him. Yeah. He's carpet bagging or cheese bagging. I don't know what term you want to use.
I think cheese bagging for Wisconsin.
He's cheese bagging. But you want to know what I do find interesting? You would think, I'm going to be honest, usually the RNC manages to stack something resembling a decent to mediocre to mid celebrity palette. I ain't seen none of that.
Oh no, but Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan said the N-word and was banned from the WWE, and that takes a lot. I don't know who he called the N-word, but if it was,
know how horrible a human being you have to do for
that part.
Tell you are not welcome here.
Welcome, like, sir. Like, what was Hulk Hogan? Terry, what were you doing, sir?
It's like Steven Adler getting kicked out of Guns N' Roses because he did too many drugs.
Like Terry, what were you doing? It's like Elon Musk telling J.R. Rowling to calm down with the transphobia.
I forgot about that.
Oh no, I remember that. Listen, I'm not always the CEO of Never Forget, but that one.
He blocked me on Twitter, which I am immensely proud of.
I have not yet been blocked. I have not been blocked by Joanne yet, but I don't care about Joanne like that.
I've also been blocked by Martina Navratilova.
I have not yet been blocked by Martina Navratilova.
They're terrible people.
Marty has not yet blocked me, but I don't care enough. There's some famous TERFs that I do not care enough about.
I lack the enzyme in my brain that prevents me from telling assholes they're pieces of shit.
I did get blocked by Libs of TikTok, but I think everybody's been blocked by Libs of TikTok. I think because I called her Christmas cake because of her unbroken engagement. And I'm just still saying, somebody in the Orthodox community, marry this woman. I normally don't advocate such things, but I honestly think if she did get hitched, I don't think it would soften her, but it would give her something else to do.
Yeah, she has like, it's ironic because she has divorced man syndrome. Like,
she really does. Like, I don't know if it was the fact that because she's older and her younger sister got married first. I don't know. It's something wrong with Chaya.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's, to go back, I think the media is to blame for always being themselves because they are the media. But I think the Democrats are to blame for not playing the board as the board lays.
And I think the thing is, this is something that could not have been, this is a situation that could not have been prevented. Honestly, no, because let's put it like this. This could not have been prevented. This was inevitable, but I think everybody was gambling of him getting through the election and us having this fight afterwards.
I mean, it could have been, but
because honestly, what would have happened is that he would have resigned, and it would have been Kamala, and there would have been people been like, "Oh my God, we now have a black female president. She didn't even have to go through the heat of an election. What the fuck? Fuck her."
Resigned, no, but allowed for open primaries, yes, because as the reports have trickled out, the one thing that people notice, like, for one, his circle have been protecting him and coddling him since last fall. He has not had a full cabinet meeting since October. And so his deterioration has been known for some time. So the
thing is, I'm not even calling it a deterioration.
Well, it's not that I think he is
exactly. It's not really. It's not really a deterioration. It's more it's more kind of a non-favorable rearranging of duties, where he's kind of having cabinet. I'm assuming what he's doing is having cabinet members meet in shifts, kind of like, I'm going to see you 5 at 11 a.m. today. I'm gonna have lunch. Then I'm gonna come and see you 5 at about 1 p.m. Then I'm gonna see you 5. In other words, he probably doing what I know I would do, but A, I'm not as smart, and B, my job is a lot less demanding. So, I mean, honestly, he's doing what somebody who has a less demanding job would do. He's arranging it so that he can probably do things in a more kind of scaled back, but still getting as much done as possible. But it's bad fucking. But let's all be honest, it's bad fucking optics.
And optics is all there is. Optics and messaging is all there is, because there's being president and then there's campaigning to be president.
Yeah, and what it is this. Personally, I do not believe in changing horses midstream. It's a dumb idea. No one likes it. It's also the idea that that the Democrats are severing their spinal cord in order to lose weight. They're severing their spinal cord and ripping out their backbone in order to lose weight. And I don't know if that's really a good idea here.
This is a losing horse that's been losing for a long time. The issue will be that there are going to be people who, if he drops out of the race and someone else takes it and that person loses, they are going to blame the fact that he dropped out rather than the fact that the person who takes his place losing will lose in spite of the switch, not because of it.
And the thing is, and also there's a fact that let's just talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the corner, and that is the amount. I think also the reason we are many of the Black female supporters of the Democratic Party are hesitating is because we know what awaits Kamala. It's not that we're scared for her. It's just, do we have Do we have the energy to go through that fuck shit right now?
That is like the like only legitimate argument I am willing to entertain against her, because
Do we have the energy to entertain the amount of misogynistic fuck shit that's going to come our way? Do I have the energy for this? Do I have the energy to deal with, is she even really black? She black, no. What do you want? She's black. She's what? Did Oakland stop being a part of the United States? Someone call Kendrick Lamar and tell him. What are we doing?
It already started with was it the New York Post? I mean, it already.
The New York Post can fuck right off. The New York Post can fuck right off to the event horizon of the entire goddamn universe.
I know that if Biden steps aside and it's someone like Gavin Newsom, it'll probably be a loss. It'll probably be a loss.
But the ironic thing is if he, God forbid, steps aside and he gives it to Kamala, they could pull it out.
He would be an incredible proxy. I mean, he is an incredible proxy for Biden. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
And I could see Gavin Newsom shifting his weight and dragging and helping Kamala across the finish line. I do believe that him and his hair could do it. Oh yeah, no, we are not. We will not count out his hair. His hair is at least 3 percentage points in certain parts of the South. It's at least half a percentage point in Georgia. That hair.
Ultimately, we were led down a place that we didn't need to be led down, and it could have been an entirely different situation if Biden had not chosen to run again. Even after he privately, he leaked to Axios, he had his staff leak to Axios that he would be a one-term president, and then basically just confirmed it in his most recent interview with what he did. This is the one he did after Lester Holt. I can't remember the most recent interview.
I don't know if the thing is, I don't know if it was a confirm or it's just everybody wishing that that's what he said.
He confirmed in his most recent interview that he had planned on being a one-term president, but
there's plans and then there's shit happened and I changed my mind.
I just think him deciding to run again was a bad decision. And then to top it off, after that disastrous debate performance, doing the worst possible job of reassuring people by taking a week to do a 20-minute interview, by taking another week to do a press conference. In both cases, he did marginally okay. But in subsequent interviews, it's clear that, like, at different times a day, his goose is cooked. He is not looking good, and he's not going to get better. Like, this is like this sort of basic element of age-related cognition issues is you have your good moments and your bad moments, and the bad moments are only going to get worse, and the good moments aren't going to get better. And as we get closer to that election, if he stays in, the swing voters, independents, moderates, pussies. I'm not saying they're pussies. I'm saying it was pussies, as in they were part of that group. Not saying that centrists, but
I don't know. I mean, honestly, at this point, maybe I'm being a little bit more sensitive as A, I get older, B, I realize my precarious position, and I realize my precarious position in society, that I'm probably 3 Supreme Court decisions away from leaving the country in the dead of night, so I don't get my birth control implant forcibly wrested out of my arm.
We're all fucked if Trump becomes president for a second term, and we're all just looking for the best possible way to make that not happen.
Yeah, we're all looking for a way to buy ourselves time in 4-year increments. Because remember when Biden got elected, I said we're just simply buying ourselves time.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're buying time. That's all we're doing. We're buying ourselves time in 4-year increments.
We always are. And I resent the people who kind of get upset about that fact and decide, I'm going to sit it out this time because we can't keep going like this. And I'm like, Well, I mean, until we get some sort of structural change, it'll always be like this. You sitting it out isn't going to change it.
You sitting it out is just accelerating it, and meaning I now have to think about, am I going to suck or fuck my way out? Am I going to suck and fuck my way out of this country?
But
bitch, I might.
They'll call us incrementalists derisively, and I'm just like, okay.
What do you want, motherfucker? What you want? What you want? At this point,
in retrospect, Lincoln was the accelerationist candidate. They just didn't know it at the time.
I bet they. Oh boy.
It's who is to know what is to happen, but I am terrified by. Yeah. I've been terrified since
I'm this close to reaching out to a friend of mine from this who of Scandinavian origin. Would I marry somebody old enough to be my father in order to get out of this country? Bitch, I might.
The only thing that saves Biden poll numbers is if a ceasefire deal is reached.
Yes, I think if it and it's I've heard that it's getting close. If he can pull off a ceasefire deal by
Sunday,
if he can pull off a ceasefire deal by Sunday, bitch, he might actually get in by the skin of his teeth, and we might be able, and I might be able to, not have to marry a 60-year-old Swede in order to get out of the country. And don't fuck I look like. Listen,
free healthcare.
You think I wouldn't? I absolutely would. I've entertained answering the DM just for the free healthcare. Hey, we might end up neighbors in Stockholm. Be hilarious if we continued this entire damn podcast from the same apartment building in Stockholm. That'd be fucking hilarious.
And just log on. Welcome to the show. We're here to
Actually, no. One of my favorite social media follows is an Afro Swede. Is a lesbian Afro Swede blogger, activist, etc.
Okay, that needs to be a band. That needs to be a band. I need to see a band called Afro Swede, just materialize right now.
But what would that sound like? Would that be black metal?
Disco.
I was thinking it would be like a Afro beats and black metal. I can't. This is why. I understand why you stopped drinking.
For a while. I had a Peartini last night. It was really good.
On the other hand, I rediscovered soju.
Ooh.
Yeah. Listen, I love globalism for the fact that, I now have a Korean market around the corner from my house. And yeah, they should have never let this shit into the country.
Well, while we have 9 minutes left, let's talk about a subject that is much lighter than everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
And that is the recent thing I just saw before we went on the air, that David Zaslav has said that he is thinking of splitting Warner Brothers Discovery into two separate entities. One for streaming and I'm just
waiting for the sound of him fucking it up.
And the other for cable. And I just that is what it was. It was
now we're going all the way back to the original. And honestly, I'm going to be honest. If Biden were to end this man as an official act, that might actually save him.
Well, Biden's FEC is doing a great job of preventing mergers and suing companies. I'm I am
You know
really
what? Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's also something that's something that the DNC needs to point out, that you're not as much voting for Biden as you're voting for the cabinet. You are voting, like, honestly, has Pete Buttigieg been an okay transportation secretary? He's been an okay transportation secretary. I wouldn't say great. I mean, on one hand you have East Palestine, but on the other hand you have the bright line. Brightline's pretty slim, and I'm gonna be honest, I fucking love that shit. Maybe I'm just saying that because I have like $100 in credits from them, but
it's one of those situations where he had a lot of things that were systemic problems happen on his watch, but unfortunately they did happen on his watch, and people
have been writing him hard about it, but I would say he's handled it reasonably okay, considering he hasn't been great, but he hasn't been awful. I mean, he's no Elaine Chao. Sorry, Elaine, but he's no Elaine Chao. Let's put it like this: we can do worse. Listen, let's be honest. That man is only there to get his seat warm so that he can be vice president. Yeah. There, I said it. I said what I'm gonna say. In other words, if we have a democracy in about 8 to 10 years, I will not be surprised if I am pulling the lever for Shapiro Buttigieg or Buttigieg Shapiro.
Shapiro, I think, would be a good choice because he can win. Politically, he's too centrist for me, but That's sort fair. Of understand that beggars can't be choosers in a situation like this. My ideal ticket, the ticket I think that could win the most, is Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket because she has the highest polling and she is going to be seen
it would keep the backbone in the party.
Yeah. It would be a handing off of power and not a chaotic scramble. The other thing is, I think if it is Pete Buttigieg as the vice president, the fact is people will point to the transportation issues and but mostly what the RNC will do, much like they will with Kamala Harris because she is Jamaican, Indian American, Pete Buttigieg is gay, is they're going to go fucking nuts and just...
They're going to do dumb shit in public.
They're going to release with the bigotry in a way that will be off-putting to a lot.
They gonna be dumb in public. In other words, if it's Kamala and Pete, they're gonna be dumb in public. They're going to be dumb in public, and people are going to be like, "Oh my god, you basically painted him as a child molester and her as like an evil Cali-headed goddess." Man, y'all overstating this. I'm voting for them anyway. Fuck you. And you might get the independents breaking for that ticket as a fuck you. Oh my god, calm down.
Especially because Pete Buttigieg had a lot of moderate Republicans who were interested in him in the 2020 primary.
Yeah, and you're gonna have the people the moderate Republicans who remember the sweet but sassy, young-ish gay man with the 2 adorable kids and the husband, the very heteronormative but gay. And let's be honest, moderate Republicans love that shit.
And
they love that shit.
Leftists who were already not planning to vote for Biden anyway. Well, the leftists who, not all leftists, but the leftists who are not planning on voting for Biden are not going to vote for Harris Buttigieg because they will call her a cop and him McKinsey, which fine, they are. But you know who else is a cop? Gretchen Whitmer and and Amy Klobuchar. People who are also,
And I love Big Gretch, but and I love Big Gretch. Don't get me wrong. Big Gretch is adorable.
They were state prosecutors. They were people
exactly
so there's no getting around the fact that when it comes to the
as a woman, your path to the top always lies through being a prosecutor. I hate it. No one has a good time from it, but here we are. Well, I said, if next week we come back, we reconvene, and it's Harris Buttigieg, I will be honest. If we can reconvene and it's Harris Buttigieg, how will you feel?
Relieved.
Okay. I don't like it, but I can see a lot of people. I can see a lot of people in the I can see a lot of people in the party will breathe a sigh of relief. They will say, you know what, I don't like it, but I can live with it.
I think
They
it gives us
will.
the best chance of winning, but not a guarantee of winning.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a fuck. No, it's not a guarantee. But I can see people going. I can see many independents going. You know what? I don't like it, but I can live with it.
So many people hate these two old men. So many people hate these two.
I think people. The thing is, I guess what it is because the two of us have we've lived through this for so long, and we've become so used to the realities of it, and we've become so inured to how the sausage is made that we've learned how to vote for the people and vote for the people in the administration, not necessarily the man. And there's a lot of people who haven't mastered that art yet.
Well, I hope that whatever happens when we reconvene, it is to better poll numbers for whomever is.
Yeah, like honestly, this is why I often pray for Trump to shit his pants in public.
That for us to know that he shits his pants. He shit his pants in public.
But I want it to be a disgusting diaper blowout. They can't get to him in time. It's hot.
It needs to be some blazing saddles, ass pants bursting.
In other words, I want it to be a bowel evacuation in the hottest part of Florida at the hottest time of day, for it to be noisy, the speakers to all work, and for the wind to hit it just right that everybody smells it.
It needs to be such an evacuation that escape pods launch.
It needs to be such an evacuation that Noel Castler has to come back to Twitter and write about it.
So with that, we will end the show. But this just in, late breaking, David's ass laughs, Dumbhell's still alive. That's it, everybody. We'll see you next time. I can't believe that guy's trying to split up, Warner Brothers after
we're back to where we started.